how often is this actually happening? What are we talking about here? What are my risks of taking a medication and having something substantial happen?
So let's look at a snapshot of some numbers.
Okay.
In 2008, the FDA received more than 530,000 reports of suspected adverse drug events.
In 1 year?
In 1 year.
Okay.
And 33,000 of those were submitted directly to the FDA. But most of those, again, came from drug manufacturers. So it was probably, patient, consumer to manufacturer to the FDA.
Okay.
320,000 of that initial quantity was considered serious. And we mentioned what serious was kind of at the outset.
Yeah.
And then of that amount, at the top end of severity, nearly 50,000 resulted in deaths.
Wow.
So that's
like
a massive
9% or something like that. But
yeah, and some of that can be a little. I didn't pick apart all of those numbers.
Right, and it's important to factor in there. That sounds like an enormous number, but that's how many millions and millions and millions of prescriptions were actually dispersed over the course of the year. It's not as enormous of a percentage as it seems initially.
Sure,
yeah, there's a lot of nuance. Yeah, there's a lot of nuance here, but I think it's just important just to show the scale of what we're talking about in the severity.
And the ones that are being reported are very serious.
Exactly.
Got it.
There was even another meta-analysis in 1994 estimated that more than 1 million Americans were hospitalized because of adverse drug events, which accounted for roughly 4.7% of all admissions. And then
4.7% of all admissions? Wow.
Yeah. So it's a large scale issue. And to your original question, there are a lot of things we can do about it. It's just something that is so multifactorial. I'm not so sure we'll ever bring that to zero, obviously, especially as new drugs are developed, new combinations, new hurdles arise. And then the last, I think, useful statistic here would be annual estimates of the proportion of outpatients with an adverse drug event range anywhere from 5 to 35%.
That's a broad range.
So a huge spread.
Yeah.
Again, just speaks to all of those issues with underreporting and outpatient,
But you're saying theoretically any adverse drug event could be something relatively innocuous like diarrhea or nausea or dry mouth or dizziness, something relatively minor all the way up to those big things. Okay. All right. So if that's me, if I'm taking a medication and something happens, how do I go about reporting that? Do I talk to my doctor?
You can. Yeah, that's never a bad idea.
Okay.
But again, as the patient, if you're listening to this and you do feel like I want somebody else to know what's going on, theoretically you can go directly to the FDA.
Okay.
Sounds scary. Sounds like how in the heck do I do that? This is via their MedWatch program. They have forms on their website, which are pretty easily accessible if you just Google them. Basically just, FDA reporting, basically.
Yeah.
It'll take you to this umbrella of things. And then also, if you've ever picked up a medication from a pharmacy, that legal requirement is that FDA information, that toll-free number will be there.
Oh, so it's on that printout.
Yeah.
That I recycled.
Exactly.
Got
that
it.
we
Okay.
recycle a lot of too, that somehow end up back with us, But the second way, if you feel so inclined, you can go directly to the manufacturer. And we've seen that. We've kind of started that process for people who, 85-year-old doesn't know how to use the internet super efficiently. Can you please send this in for me? This is upsetting me. I want somebody to know.
Yeah.
And your pharmacist, pharmacy tech can help fill some of this out. They can give you maybe the lot number, the NDC number. And so again, it does sound like a lot of work. In a lot of ways it is. It's just that on this global scale, if you want things to kind of be moving in the right direction for the next guy,
right,
it's maybe not the end of the world to report some stuff.
Absolutely.